Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and Scotty Allwood.
And this is Vendettas, episode 6, Notes on a Scandal, or, as I would call it, padding the seasons. Making sure that we got all these episodes for a season, and now seasons are like what? What was Dirty 30? Like 16 episodes, something like that?
17, 19 with the reunion. This one,
yes,
I've heard is supposed to be like 12, so at least there's that.
What? Really? Oh, wow, that perked me right up, man. That's crazy, because...
But there's already been so much padding already, so it's like,
Yeah, I'm really shocked because I said padding the seasons, and then I also said, where's a redemption house when you need one? I mean that as in that there was something to look forward to every couple episodes. You know what I mean? And in this Vendettas, it's just kind of, I'm just staring into nothingness. It's just so there's vast nothingness where I'm like, I don't know where the season's heading.
I wasn't even excited to see this episode or last week's episode. Like, the excitement is kind of gone just because a lot of the episodes have just been repeated information. Like, there's a lot of just, it's new scenes, but of just old information. So it's not fun to watch. This episode I thought was a lot better at bringing other people into the show, because I thought a lot of the first 5 episodes was just nonsense of just the same people over and over with, like I said, repeated information. So at least this episode gave us a lot different perspective of who else is in the house. And that's 6 episodes in, and I'm really pissed because there are a lot of people that I want to see, like in this episode, that could have been used throughout the other episodes that would have made me enjoy this season more.
Holy shit. So if what you thought was true about it being a 12-episode season, we're mid-season now?
Yeah.
Episode 6?
Right. Because they always,
wow.
I mean, they showed us later this season, and that's usually like in the halfway mark.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I watched this via YouTube. I just buy the episodes, like $2 a goddamn pop for standard vision or whatever, standard quality. Yeah, and I was like, that always puts me in a sort of a sour mood in the mornings, because I wake up in the mornings and I watch these episodes on Wednesdays.
I just paid $2 for this.
Yes.
What's wrong today? Don't worry about it.
I really must stop. Let's get into the episode itself, all right? We'll make sense into what our bitching is all about.
I want to start. Very beginning of the episode. Nighttime. Typical house shot. Typical cat shot. It's an orange cat. Melissa.
Yeah, I remember.
So Sylvia, like, they're getting home from the elimination from the night before, where Sylvia and Melissa went into an elimination. Sylvia's like talking about how she's still sick, and she starts explaining the grenades, but we know that she doesn't end up using it. So I feel like, oh well. Those would have been nice to see.
It was a funny scene because, yeah, it was like repeated information. She was like, by the way, I have the power to take money. Never happens. I have the power to make someone do an endurance test before the actual thing. What would that endurance test be before having to swim? More swimming?
Yeah, I wonder if it's a very good question. I have no idea. I wish that something would happen with these grenades of substance, because that would be fun to see what would happen. But we're 6 eps in with dog shit.
What was the other one? Order. You decide the order.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, considering how the mission that we're going to go into later is only 4 teams, I mean, what's the big fucking difference? I mean, just
Order plays a huge factor into this mission. So it would have been great if Sylvia could have done that.
Well, I mean, she doesn't get to create the teams. The teams are chosen in random order. But then she gets to decide in which order these giant teams go against each other, right? No way. No way.
She would have been able to choose the team.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because later,
it was.
I mean, we'll get into it now. It was said by TJ in a voiceover that it was random, but behind the scenes says otherwise.
No, really? Okay. I don't know why I just want to doubt you all the time, but I'm just like, there's no fucking possible way. But
they got pizza right after that scene. Pizzagate, hashtag.
Pizzagate. Fuck Pizzagate. Fuck this notes on a scandal nonsense, but we'll get into that as well. So, what have we covered? Sylvia's sick. She's not going to use these grenades. We're kind of jumping all over the place.
Nicole misses Melissa very much.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Nicole seems genuinely sad in her interview. I'm like, damn, this girl. And she's like, you guys just hate her because you're jealous. She says, she's got the best body.
Oh, that was
best
weird.
Kisser, the best accent. She loves her.
Yeah.
And Melissa was just like clearly using her for the game. And Nicole's like, oh no.
That's right. Yeah, she didn't want to admit the truth. And that was the truth. Like, Melissa straight up said that.
I mean, she was getting some loving. Who cares what it was for? She said she's not going to be having someone to play around with now.
Yeah, that's true. I would be sad, too. I mean, Melissa was pretty hot. You weren't on the previous episode.
Yeah.
You couldn't air your grievances about Melissa. Now's your chance, dude.
Yeah. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. I don't care if she's gone, though.
She fought dirty in elimination. Doesn't that mean she'll fuck dirty in the bed? I don't know what that means.
Nicole Z, if you'd like to give us a call on our next podcast, get to let us know how well she was in bed. That'd be great.
No. There's for a couple reasons. A, I'm not ready for a MTV celebrity, and B, I cannot stand her voice. Every time she talks, I'm like, oh my god, like
5 minutes in. You know what? I gotta get. My dog just ran over my cat with the car. I gotta get going. Ah!
Yeah, it would. I'm sure she's a wonderful. Even if I liked her as a person, I cannot stand her accent. It's the craziest thing. It's like ammonia to me. I'm like, you know, I can't be next to it for too long. Anyways, I'm clearly stalling because I don't want to talk about this episode.
The next scene, more of what you love. Shirtless dudes by the pool. Here we go. Sunscreen. Victor applies it to Joss. Oh no, slow-mo. Joss again, like, what is going, like, I like Joss. I like that they're showing more of Victor this episode. I became to really like him this episode, but
yeah. Me too.
They should have shown this forever ago. Give us some of this stuff earlier. We've already seen Joss shirtless 4 episodes in a row. How much more we need? Even though I like this little moment, this scene, I was still tired of it.
Yeah,
it was like
it's kind of a it's a setup. It's a setup because Shane is like, oh, that's hot, and what's his name? Victor's kind of playing that up. He's like, I'm not gay, but check me out, I'm hot, and you know,
he's like look at my diaper. He's like, that's what he thinks is sexy, is pretending he's wearing a diaper. And then Shane's just all into it for some reason. He's like, yeah, wear that diaper. He's talking, he's like, oh yeah, Victor's got gorgeous hair. Horrible laugh. And then Victor starts laughing. And it like, you're just like, sure, it's not that. And then he's like, and it's like, oh my God. That laugh is actually awful. It seems like Victor's like just trying to make a laugh, and that's his inside joke with himself. Yeah, guys. And then I fell in the pool. It was that bad.
All this shit so far, I didn't even bother to write down. But now that you mention it, you know, Shane does turn on Victor, and that's the closest thing we have to like a bait and switch dramatically. I don't know what I'm saying, but
I really
I
feel like Victor's like. I mean, he even talked about how Shane is someone he feels like he could align with, and I feel like he really was vibing with Shane, and then when later happens, it really did kind of throw him for a loop, because Shane's just like, oh shit, I gotta do something, and then we'll get to that later, but, so, did you write down whose rooms were, or who was in whose room? Because I did, because I find that stuff interesting. They don't typically...
Oh, did you? Okay,
yeah,
good.
They typically don't show that stuff, or at least focus on it. And I thought it was it was all over some stupid-ass note that I hated, but it was still fun to kind of see where people were and who was going in.
We got the blueprints of the house, which was kind of cool in a way. You know, like if it was done 3D dimensional, like Game of Thrones, like da-na-da-da-da, and then you like go past the blue room, and then there's Brittany and Cara and Jemmy and shit like that, and then you go past there and stuff. Like, that would have been cool. But we got this. It wasn't, you know, it was more like Home Alone,
best
the
of
Home
what
Alone
we could
map.
get when they're giving out $500,000 each season. This is the best of what they could give us.
That's true.
That
Yeah, that's very
sequence
true.
you're wanting probably would cost 500 grand alone.
That would be great.
They first go into the blue room and it's Jimmy, Car Maria, Veronica, Brittany, and sometimes Shane. Now this is
Yeah,
where
yeah,
the note happened because it was placed
yes.
in Brittany's bed. And Shane's sleeping. He's sitting, lying on the. Why is he sleeping on the ground? He has his own bedroom and own bed.
He's got eye mask on.
Yeah. Then he's like, "No, I'm gonna go sleep in the floor in the other room when they're not in there." Okay, whatever floats your boat, I guess, Shane. But he hears flip flops, and the MTV's being so weird about this. It's like they want some kind of seek, like I don't know what they want from this.
Because they digitally blur the person. Yeah, yeah. That was so weird.
I guess because the house doesn't know yet, they don't know who did it, and there's a lot of like questioning who did it and whatnot. So MTV's like, well, okay, let's just play off of that for eight episodes.
It has to pay off, though. It has to pay off in such a big way because my big complaint in the previous episode was complaining about the episode before that, Pizzagate. It was a big, huge thing, and then there was no payoff. Like, no one sent in Brittany. They sent in Melissa instead. You know, so
Yeah, there's been a lot of
I don't know.
setup
Guess,
and not a lot of payoffs this season. So maybe that's why we're not enjoying it that much.
yeah, maybe that's what it is, man. Like we're privy to it. We're like, I know what you're doing, challenge. You guys don't have a redemption every couple episodes, or remember what they did in Invasion, where they had champs go against each other every other episode. So you're like, I'm kind of interested in what's going on. You know, they're not doing it this season. It's just kind of. Again, I felt like I was just staring into the abyss where I'm like, I have no idea where this is going. I don't, because nothing's paying off.
How many eliminations have they had? Like 2 actual eliminations, and we're episode 6.
Yeah.
And they weren't even like exciting eliminations. Well, the Sylvia and Melissa one was, but
Yeah.
Melissa was not going to win that against Sylvia, in my opinion.
Really? I knew that Sylvia's a fighter and a survivor, but Melissa had the MMA tactics and shit like that. Oh, that was such a good elimination. Should have been here, man. Should have been here.
If you'd like to hear my thoughts, sorry, on that subject, can't. But the note is on Brittany's bed, and it's a little pink. It's a pink slip, and it's in girl's handwriting, and it just says, "Just so you know, anytime you're not in the room, the girls are talking bad about you." So this is. It has to get worse because right now it's like, okay, someone's talking bad. Oh, they're saying they're not, so I'm just gonna believe them. Who gives a shit? Who wrote this note? Move on with my life. But I guess since they're in this, TV-less, newsless world, they have nothing else going on. So I guess that makes sense that this would be a huge deal. We're like, oh fuck, something happened. Someone's out to get me, kind of thing. Jimmy and Veronica make it seem like they really didn't write this. Jimmy's like, we never, like she's talking about, we never talk shit about Brittany, and just that kind of way she says it is dumbfounded. Like, why the fuck would we be doing that? And Veronica's walking around like trying to talk about it, and in her interview, she's like, whenever I find out who did this, I'm gonna go fucking crazy. Like, she's mad about this because I'm getting like they didn't do it.
Yeah. I wish women would be able to be like dudes sometimes and just like, listen, women, we talk shit about each other all the fucking time. What's the big fucking difference? Let's not have these notes tear us apart, But it really must be the boredom where they're just like, not only are they bored in the house, but we're bored as a fucking audience. You know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, so they start doing these editing techniques that I really enjoy that the show's been doing this season. There is some stuff and that I still think is fun, and I think the way they're putting this out there is at least interesting to see. It's very boring, but at least they're kind of putting graphics up, and they're like, suspect. There was flip-flops. Marie has flip-flops, and they show Marie in front of like a police lineup, and it's like, suspect, and it's like, oh shit! This is like, it's just kind of fun in that sense. I'm trying to find fun somewhere in the episodes.
Yeah. It's definitely like it's occupying our time, but I'm just so annoyed by how everything's just stretched out. Like, I just remember the good old times where we had a mission and elimination.
If you watch the old seasons, it's immediate payoff of just fun and laughter and intensity. And now
Yeah.
it's like, okay, even if I was binge watching this, like we said that it would probably be better suited for it, I don't think that I would binge watch it. I would watch a few episodes and then go, well, I'll get back to this.
Yeah. It should be called the drama or something, not the challenge, because there's very little challenge in this show anymore. It's crazy. But let's go down the list of notes. I have one page, and you've been able to, like, produce so much material from, like, oh, by the way,
It's only been like
what's his
10
name?
minutes in the show so far. I'm sorry. Like, I want to talk about the rooms, though. I love that a lot. The pink room.
Oh, that's fine.
The pink room is Kyle, John, and Leroy, and Cara Maria sometimes. So they're kind of like, oh, these are people who are often in other rooms as well. And then there's the orange room, who Brittany doesn't trust at all. Everyone in there doesn't trust, and she shouldn't, because in there it's Sylvia, Kayla, Marie, and Cam. And in a previous episode, we saw Sylvia and I believe Kayla talking about who to go into an elimination, and then they were like, "Oh, Brittany, you should choose. She sucks, dick." And then Brittany walks in, and they're like, "Oh, hey, dude, what's going on? We were just hanging out." So
That's right.
then
That's
there's,
right.
I don't think they did the other room, or I can't remember, but in the other room it's like Victor, Brad, Joss, Nelson, and Devin, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I guess
I
they
think
didn't,
it's
they didn't
Devin.
go through all of the rooms, or maybe I just missed that on my notes.
I didn't even bother, but it's great that you provide that information. The only thing I have written next is the actual mission. Is there something that happened before
Well,
the
let
mission
me
that
let
we
me
should
talk
talk
real
about?
quick about before the mission happens. It's again a lot of repeating. It's, Veronica talks about this note or whatever, but then we get a scene of Nelson, Brad, Victor, Joss, and Devin hanging out, talking about how they need to get bananas out, and it's like, yeah, you do. We don't need to see
Yeah.
this. We just saw this 4 other times in the past episode and a half. So it's just kind of just repetition, just more of the same, stretching it out, and it's so like, and they're getting good ratings, and it makes me mad and happy at the same time, because I'm like, good ratings, more seasons, but they're getting good ratings for bad shit, so it makes I go Vince. Okay,
Yeah, they finally broke 1 million. They haven't broke 1 million views
X
in a
is 2,
long
wasn't
fucking
it?
time.
X is 2. That's the big thing.
Wow, not since then. That's crazy, man.
Talk
okay,
about
well,
the
I
mission.
want to talk about the mission. Can we
Because
talk
I'm
about the mission?
just grasping for air, talking so much, huh?
Grasping for
Yeah. So what's the mission called?
No, hold on. Before we start with all that, I gotta mention my shit. Sylvia is sick. Natalie
Oh, yeah, right.
is sick. They aren't gonna participate, so they're not even there. Are they even there? I don't even think they're there.
I think they took him
and
to the
then-
hospital for the night. So
The fucking hospital. That's crazy. So instead of showing us that, they showed us a blurred out version, like fucking Sasquatch walking through the woods, dropping off that note for Brittany.
And it's such
Like-
bullshit, because TJ's like, oh yeah, they're not here, but it's a guy's day, so it doesn't matter. Like, what?
Oh, yeah,
it was
that's
just
right,
like a
yeah.
guy/girl day the other day. It didn't even fucking matter who it was. And now all of a sudden, you just don't want to, put those two in elimination because it's Natalie. We can't put Sylvia in. So we can't put Nat, like, if it was just Sylvia, I guarantee you she'd be going into another elimination or just getting sent.
Another one.
But it's Natalie sick too, so they're just like, oh no, it's guys. It's a guys
And that's-
elimination day, so good luck.
Because she's in a relationship with Bananas, do you think producers are trying to save her?
Yeah.
Oh my god, who would have thunk? That's crazy. Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? Sylvia was sick before, and she went into elimination, and that's really something that the producers really want to get rid of. As soon as someone's injured, like look at Melissa, they were like, put her
That's
in
what I'm
elimination.
saying.
We don't.
Melissa
Yeah.
had a fucking cut toe, and they're like, nope, can't. You're going straight to elimination. And then suddenly it's Sylvia, okay, but more so Natalie. Oh no, it's a guy's day. They can't go to elimination. We'll wait till they're
Jesus
better.
Christ. And then the cherry on the fucking top is that Sylvia, who earned a grenade, she fucking earned it. She had one of the best eliminations we've had this season, and it's a dud. She doesn't get to take $10,000, right? Didn't she get to take money or something like that? What was the thing?
It was probably, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter because it's a dud. It's a dud. Like this season. Oh!
But that's the sad thing. I'm always torn doing this fucking podcast because I'm like, I'm not proud to say I talk about the challenge, and even so, the challenge is disappointing me. You know what I mean?
I used to tell people oh, you got to watch the challenge on MTV. It's fucking cool. And now I just don't talk about it unless it's with you.
Yeah, it's better to. It's like racism. You do it behind closed doors and with your friends. You know what I mean? Don't go out there and say all that shit, man. It's horrible. And so is the challenge. The challenge is horrible, but we talk about it between. It's between friends.
Because it's love. It's addiction. Even at the worst high, is still with what we love.
Yeah. It's just awful. But, okay, no grenade. So now we're going to get into, you know what, though? This is a night challenge.
Okay, fuck that. Because I think too much about production, okay? I feel like they just weren't done setting up yet. They're like, TJ, they're here. Or TJ's like, yeah, they're here, dudes. And production's like, oh, fuck. We still got 12 hours of work to do. And the cat, so he's like, oh, they're scrounging around back there. Just say it's the twist. Yeah, it's at night. We'll do it at night. And they're like, well, we'll have to go to the hardware store and get some lights. Well, it's not ready now, so we got to do something. And then now it's a night challenge. So I don't. That's what I think when I hear that shit. I don't believe. I just don't trust producers, I guess, anymore. I'm always thinking, what's really going on? Did they really want this? Because why bring him there and sit around? How long were they sitting? 6 hours. They brought him out there to sit for 6 hours. Come on. I don't believe that shit. And if they did, show us some of that footage. I would have rather seen them just like hopscotching around instead of seeing this damn note.
You are the problem, sir. We need to cut all the bullshit and get directly to the challenge. But no, that's a good catch because you were like, why have them show up? And then, they probably were like, holy fuck, we're not ready. But then you could have bypassed all that shit and sent a fucking cell phone clue. Remember that shit? And they're like, the mission today, like, I hope you're ready to close your eyes and get wet. And, like, okay, whatever. And, because our mission is at night or whatever. And everyone was like, oh, shit, what do you think it is,
They've had night missions before. It's not a twist. It's such a waste to have them there. They've had night missions before. Yeah. Well, how is this a surprise?
Yeah.
But, of course, they're going to be like, oh, my God, it's at night. We're here in the daytime. I think that was more just like, oh, fuck, we're here for 6 more hours before we get to do anything.
But to be fair, I mean, I'm back and forth right now. You were like, oh, maybe they weren't ready. But it did look cool. Didn't it look kind of cool?
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool mission, but still. Yeah.
They had those strobe lights on their back, so that looked cool. Well, that's about it. I mean,
tell us about the mission. What's the mission? What are they doing?
It's called gasping for air, Scott. And randomly, again, there's a dud grenade or whatever. So everyone who's going to participate, it's going to be random 4 teams of people. What is it called? Sex unbiased or whatever. It was just completely random. So there'll be like a team of like mostly girls and a couple guys. Not that it matters, but some shit is not fair compared to other shit. I don't know what I'm getting at, but let's get into it right now. I have the teams written down. I have the amount of feet that they swam with the ring and shit.
Good.
But that's about it. I don't remember like specifically what they did.
Okay, well they had to dive down 15 feet, grab onto this rope. There's a ring on the rope, and they have to slide this ring 100 feet across to the other side of to the other yacht, where then they could go back up and onto above water, I guess we'll call it. And then that would, if they did that, and it would be like whoever got the most people the furthest would win. And also on the line, it's like a oxygen tank. So like if they need air, they can just go to this little area, breathe into it, get some air, and then continue on with the mission.
Oh yeah.
So each team, the calculated amount of feet that their whole team got would be deciding if they were the worst team or the best team.
Yeah, so I have the teams written down. Do you want to go in order? Because first it's Brad versus Joss.
Oh, you put it down. I just had the teams listed. Like, this is on team 1, this is on team 2. But you had who went against who. Well, we can let's talk about just who's on each team. Team 1, Marie, Nelson, Brad, Cam, Kaylee. 2, Joss, Victor, Brittany, Cara, Veronica. 3, Shane, Nicole, Jimmy, Devin, Leroy. 4, Tony, Zach, Kyle, John, Kayla. Interesting that that's the order of the teams. But yeah, let's talk about...
Have you been calling Johnny Bananas John this entire time?
Yeah, I decided I was done calling him Bananas. Because I remember one time you said that you're like, I'm not calling him Bananas. I'm disrespecting him and calling him John.
No, that's so funny because earlier in this episode you did that. But I was like, John. I was thinking, I'm like, is there another guy named John? Like, why didn't you just say Johnny Bananas? He's in that room, and like that really kind of threw me through a loop. That's
hey, if
hilarious.
you ever have a question or confused, just ask, man. Don't throw yourself through turmoil in your mind. Who the fuck is John?
I was lost. Oh my god, I was so lost. All right. Well, I have written down really quick. Brad versus Joss. Brad did the 150 feet.
Hell yeah, he did, Brad. Go, Brad.
Joss did 0.
What
he
the
got
fuck?
water in his mask immediately. Apparently, they don't scuba dive in this fucking... I was going to say the States. No, the opposite of the States.
I wonder if they sabotaged his No, I'm just kidding. I don't believe that they did.
the
I think that he
United
just put the
Kingdoms.
glasses on incorrectly and then
Yeah, he
went under
didn't know.
prematurely, and that was too bad because I really wanted to see how well he would have done.
Well, okay. Even if water got into his mask, is that his breathing mask? I thought it was just his goggles. Or is it breathing mask?
They
don't
didn't
have a breathing
they don't have a
mask.
breathing mask. They were having to hold their breath
Exactly.
to do it. So if it got in there, he just immediately freaked out and was like, "Water! It's not supposed to go in my eyes!" And then went up.
Pretty fucking lame excuse or whatever. I mean, well, me personally, how would you do in this thing? Are you a swimmer? Are you a water dude? Water sprite?
No, I would get a few feet maybe, but I wouldn't get very far. Like I could go under and get down and a little bit, but maybe 10 feet.
Yeah, I'm not much of a swimmer. And yeah, I wouldn't do that well. I mean, assuming that I got in shape and then started to participate, I think swimming, I would be Leroy basically. I think like I would definitely fucking try, and I'd be great in eliminations, but I would suck in the finals. I would be exactly like Leroy in every aspect. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm funny, but do people think I'm ever gonna win? No. You know, but I get invited every season. This is what I'm saying. I'm exactly like Leroy. Who are you like, Scott, real quick?
Who am I like? I have a lot of heart. I feel like that would be... I push myself a lot further than most do. So I would probably
Diem?
die before that.
Diem?
I would quit. So yeah, I'm like Diem. Except I'm not anything like her in the most sense. Just her courage and...
You do have a weakness for very violent men. CT. Right?
Yeah, I would not do well in long distance, not at this point in my life with what I'm wearing. So I could do well in eliminations, but that's probably about it.
Nice. All right, so you couldn't run, but you could do eliminations.
I would do well in missions too. I just would not be... People know that I would not be good in a final. So if I was on a team, they'd be like, "Oh boy, he's good and he's helping us win, but we got to get the fuck him out of here." Because I just think about everything. I'm like, I have that, like like John has. I think beyond what's really happening and try to figure out how to do something a little easier.
That's true. And it would be very unfair to have a producer of his own challenges participate in the challenge. That would be totally unfair. And I would call you out for it. And then you could be easily like, "Hey, Vince, you've done it a couple times."
Let me
Not
come in
to the
yours.
extent like, no. Okay, well, anyways, next is Nelson versus Victor. Nelson does bad. Nelson has been disappointing me. Sure, he's kind of flirting with Kayla, but
Oh my
even
God,
then,
yeah, for real.
that's in question, right? Even the Kayla thing is in question because wasn't she trying to get on Bananas? I mean, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, Nelson's letting me down, man. He is letting me down so much right now.
These missions have been very strange. It seems like very few are succeeding in any of them. And I mean, like the food one. Nelson didn't even get a chance to... Or no, he was up there. But like a lot of people aren't even getting to compete. These are stupid fucking missions. That's it. Like,
Yeah,
this one was cool. Most of them are dumb so far.
Victor, on the other hand, does the 150. Good for him, right?
Yeah,
he
Victor.
is in good shape, right?
I like Victor now.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good man. Kayla versus Brittany. Kayla does 0. She's the Brit.
Kaylee.
And Brittany is the American. She does Kaylee. Did I say Kaylee?
No, you did not, Vince.
Or did I say Kayla?
You said Kayla like an asshole. Just
okay. Well,
go on.
Brittany did 35. Good for her. Still kind of disappointing, you know.
It's one of the best for the girls.
Is it? I mean, so far the best female, right?
Right.
All right, Cam versus Cara Maria. Cam 0. And you're like, no, she's been so good so far. Cara Maria 0 as well. That's bad. That sucks. You know,
Kayla's like,
she's always
Cara Maria sucks, and then Kayla doesn't even do that well on this, so it's kind of funny.
No, she does 20.
Well, I mean,
she does 20 feet compared to.
She's talking in her interview like she went 150,
this,
and Cara Maria went -10. That wasn't the case.
You got to let her have those small little victories, Scott. Otherwise, she's not going to get through the season, which is only 6 episodes left, apparently. So, but Cam, yeah, does bad. That sucks. And then finally, Marie versus Veronica. Veronica 0. Veronica, god damn it. Like, to me, I'm a diehard fan, and she's fucking hot, you know?
Right.
In a weathered MILF sort of way. Weathered. That was unnecessary. A MILF. Edit that word out. But then Marie, she did do 5 feet. So, there you go. Next, we have Team 3 versus Team 4. Shane versus John. Shane actually beats John with 150.
He did it quicker.
150. Ow! Like yes, exactly. And that's how annoying it was that he didn't get into the troika.
That's how they should have done it. I was like, oh, okay, if you got 150 and you did it the quickest, that should have been into the 3 people. But no.
Yeah. And the winning team could split the 25 grand, but only the fastest 3 out of any team would be in the troika. That's how it should have been done. And that is just so fucking annoying, you know?
That would have made for way better television, though, so...
Yeah. Yeah, they did hit 1 million.
It would have been like Brad, Shane, and Bananas, and that would have been fucking awesome to see. Them 3 in the troika.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because Brad did it very well. And, you know, they're like, how'd you get here? Elimination. All right, so next we have Nicole versus Kyle.
I was pretty impressed by Kyle.
80 feet.
Kyle and Nicole, they both did well. 80 and 50.
Oh, my God. Kyle only did 50, yet he's part of the troika.
Bastard.
It's got to tear you up inside. It does me.
It does.
Man. It does me. Nicole did better than Kyle by 30 feet. Jesus Christ. All right, next we have Jemmy versus Zach. Jemmy did 40. Zach did 45. Jemmy used to be a lifeguard. That's the weirdest thing ever, you know? Maybe she's like, yeah, back when she smoked a cigarette, like back when I gave a fuck, you know what I mean? I don't know, something like that. Okay, and then Devin versus Kayla. Devin only did 15 feet. Not bad, but Kayla did 20 feet. So, come on, Devin. Devin, I feel like you know what you're supposed to do. Like, everyone
I think he saw the teams and saw the people going and just knew it didn't matter.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because he was like, these
there's
rules
shit
are
edited
fucked up.
out of this. All right?
Mm-hmm. Edit me out, like the person that dropped the fucking letter and shit. Like, fucking, so pissed. Okay, finally, we have Leroy versus Tony. Leroy did 12 feet. Good for Leroy. Leroy's like one of the worst swimmers. And Tony, I'm really fucking surprised.
Dude, that was so...
Really
it was cool watching him
impressed.
succeed in this. Because he's talking about how he missed oxygen tanks and was like fighting. He was like me in that mindset of like, I gotta fucking do it. Like he came to he wanted to show up this season. You know, he was getting shit from friends and family being like, yeah, you've been on all these seasons and you kind of keep doing. I mean, well, how'd you get beat last season? Oh, you went to Redemption House. How? Ah, that's pretty embarrassing, huh?
Yeah.
So he came into this one just like, I will not lose.
No. Yeah, he is really haunted by his past fuck ups. You know, he really is. He's trying to outrun him and shit, and who knows? Maybe he'll try and outrun him so fast that he'll get gold. Who the fuck knows? But Tony's really surprising me. It's crazy. So now we have overall Team 4 with Bananas, Kyle, Zach, Kayla, and Tony win overall. Good for that team. They should split 25 grand. 25 grand divided by 5 is fucking obviously 5 grand. And then go and give Brad Troika. Give Bananas Troika, sure. No, give Shane Troika. And then who's the other guy? Was Tony faster than Bananas?
I don't know. I mean, there was John, Tony, Victor, Brad, and Shane, who all are like the only ones who completed it, I think. And then,
right.
So whoever was just the fastest out of those should have. I mean, that's what they've been doing other times. Why are they?
Yeah.
And this is what we got to talk about. All right. So, I believe it was Marie or somebody from the cast tweeted about how they weren't random teams. Since Sylvia wasn't there, the people
Really?
who were in the last Troika got to choose the order, or who was on each team. So it was Marie, Tony, and Zach. They got to choose who was on each team. Now, if you look at these teams, it doesn't seem like that's a lie. We have Marie, who has a vendetta against Brad. So she has Nelson, Cam, and Kaylee, all who did awful. Marie went 5 feet. She doesn't have to win this. Who cares? Joss, Victor, Brittany, Cara, and Veronica. I love Veronica. She's older. She wasn't going to do well this one. We all know that. Cara, known bad swimmer. Brittany actually did pretty well. Victor, Joss, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but even if they did all do well, they're not going to do better than the other teams. Shane, Nicole, Jimmy, Devin, and Leroy. Leroy is the worst swimmer. Already they have a dead weight on their team. Jimmy, she's not going to kill this mission. That leaves Shane, Nicole, Devin. Okay, they might do well. But then you have the fourth team. Tony, Zach, Kyle, John, Kayla. All those people have such great potential to do well in this mission. And they all do pretty well. Besides Kayla, I mean, she got 20, I think. But it was so set up. And like, if this would have been random and even, it would have been like, you know, John and Joss or Cara and Cam and Kaylee. You know, like, just
John.
Just a different way of setting up teams. But it's all said to have been set up like this because Marie wanted Brad to lose. She wanted her team to lose so they could all vote Brad into elimination, which makes complete sense.
Holy shit.
And it would have been fun to see that, but it would not have been fun to watch a mission that you know is doomed to fail. So the production changed it to where it was just random teams because no one. It's not going to be fun to watch this challenge if you know it's set up this way to where Tony, Zach, Kyle, John, and Kayla are going to win.
So Marie is the one that tweeted this shit out?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah? Wow, that's crazy, man.
So it makes sense why they showed it on the show in this fashion, but it's still annoying because it's clearly not random. And it's just unfair. They shouldn't have let those three have that power. They should have actually just made it random. But production, who cares about Brad? They just want, you know, John there, I guess.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that's a huge eye opener, man. But then I'm like, well, it's halfway through the season. I mean, they're working. I don't know. That changes everything to me. What you said about halfway through the season, what you said about this, where I'm like, do they just want Johnny Bananas to win? He's been winning so much, and it's been, you know, curved for him to win in a way, you know. Even with Natalie not being thrown into elimination, she's kept around, you know? This is crazy. Well, and, I got to ask you this. Did you know that John was on the Jimmy Fallon show?
I
didn't know that. Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
That's a really good reason to have your star, quote unquote,
stick around for at least a little bit in the next season. Yeah,
that is a huge reason to kind of try and alter shit. But then, it's crazy, man.
Why
All right.
take the chance of having him leave early when you have so many new people? Because you know he can deliver good television. They're scared to chance it, and it just shows so much. And I know some people out there are like, that's just conspiracy. No, it's logical thinking on how to produce a television show and whatnot. But the rest of the episode is just Shane and Victor fighting, and I love seeing Shane so much more. But this whole thing between him and Victor was so strange to see, and it made me so mad because Victor's handling it like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Like, what are you doing? Sorry, go with the what I'm getting too far ahead.
No. I mean, just real quick, Victor, I feel they're like, oh, he's smart, he knows how to play a game or whatever. But I'm like, well, I also feel like he is able to be a straight up politician or just a nice guy, just like, hey, how's it going, man? You know,
right?
like,
They're all
hey,
questioning his kindness because people don't come into the house anymore with that attitude.
Yeah, it's just so foreign to them. They're like, "What are you up to? What do you mean? Why aren't you just like making fart noises like bananas or something like that? Like what the fuck? Like I don't get it. Like why aren't you insulting me in like some passive aggressive way? I don't get you. You know what I mean? And for Shane to go from flirting with him in a sense in the earlier episode to now just like, no, I'm onto you, bitch. Like you're caught. You know what I mean? I'm like,
do you think that Shane maybe pushed him away before Victor could push him away? As friends,
that's no. To me, Shane is good television because he's like, no, I'm gonna come here and fuck things up. I'm here.
That's
to make
why he
TV.
should have been shown so many other times in this season. I heard about certain things being cut from him and like fights and whatnot, and it's just like
fuck who for Shane.
Yeah, it was like he fought with Corey and I guess Eddie, who they cut completely out of the show. So it makes sense.
That's right. I don't think I've ever brought that up, that Eddie was just like completely swept under the rug.
I think he's dead and he's a ghost. He was never really here physically.
You mean
I haven't seen his season of RE the One, but they might have introduced him as a ghost. Maybe he had to go back to the, death world.
If I go back and watch those YouTube videos that I bought $2 a pop for, will he even be on the video anymore?
He was in the because I was searching for everybody in the first episode because I'm a freak and I'm like, how much screen time is each person getting? What is this person saying? They mention Eddie when Cam and Alicia talk about him, and they show a clip from the old show. He's sitting there with some of the cast as they're talking at night, and then he's pretty much gone after that.
Right.
He was like, they showed a shot of him on the first mission, but who cares about that? Vincent, come on.
So Shane is getting pushed out of the limelight. The focus, I would argue, okay, obviously we didn't see all this Shane footage. Instead, we're privy to Bananas and Natalie. Like, they have a scene every episode.
And Brad and Brittany. The first 3 episodes, we had 15 clips of them just making out and stuff. That wasn't necessary. Show us something else. Come on. Okay, so
Bananas, Tony, and Kyle.
These guys start walking around the house at night, after the mission. Kyle is talking to Devin and Victor, and he's talking about how he wants to take a stance this time for who he wants. And he's like, they're kind of thinking this, but I want to do my own thing. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool that he's at least thinking that way now.
Yeah. Well,
he tells them basically, John and Tony, they're coming after you guys. Brad, Devin, they're coming for your group because you're against them. But he's like, maybe Joss. Maybe I'll put in Joss. And then they're like, yeah, I think he's maybe the only one who could beat Brad. And they're like, yeah, this is a conversation we're having. Victor walks in and he's like, I'm going to stab you because I don't want to go in again. And I know he hasn't been in elimination before. He was meaning just the 3 pictures up there.
Yeah,
the potential of going in. But he'll stab him. So we'll see what happens.
All I have written down here is that Bananas, Tony, Kyle, Troika, the nominations. Is anything noteworthy?
It's just the whole thing with Shane kind of going after Victor and Bananas being like, Victor, John comes out with the stupid tea and he's like, this is what's going down. Tell us your tea and why you should, tell us some tea and we'll let you stay. And they're like, Devin's like, this is fucking dumb. I'm not doing this. And then Shane's just like, ah, Victor, he's coming for you. Go after him. And that's what upsets them. They go to the club, and there's like a bunch of arguing. It's just like a lot of that, and then eventually, do we see who they pick?
No, we don't. And who knows? With all the, the way these Inquisition dinners go down, it's like, it's not completely obvious who they're going to choose. Every single time where we think, oh, it could be a change-up, it's just what Bananas wants.
Right.
So now I'm thinking it's probably going to be Devin, or I think Shane's fine. I think Shane's going to be saved. I don't know about you. What do you think? I mean, if I was the three of those guys, I would put in Shane for sure.
Shane literally was coming out and being like, "No, don't put me in. I'll tell you anything. Like, I'm gonna go. All right, well, I know that I could use him a little bit longer because he doesn't want to go in that badly." And then the other two, they're definitely against me. I can tell that, and they're not talking to me right now.
Oh my god, I forgot to mention this. Remember when Tony was like,
"Oh my god."
So I'm Scottie Pippen, Kyle with all the tattoos and the fucked up looks. You are, not surprisingly, Dennis Rodman. I felt that comparison was great, first of all. You know what I mean? And then Tony's like, and Bananas is fucking Michael Jordan. He's MJ, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, buy his shoes.
Well,
and I'm like, Tony,
buy his shoes.
Tony disappointed me once again. He always does. He is a fuck up in like the craziest ways possible. Every single time, Bananas like gets Tony drunk, and then he tries to get Tony to get up and mad while blacked out and fuck up his life. Tony has gotten angry about it once, but then he just forgets about it. Once again,
well,
Tony
even he
is
came
just
into
like,
this season. The end of the reunion, or they had a special where it showed the cast after the reunion party and stuff. And Tony is talking to Devin, saying, "Next season we need to." And doing a flip motion, like, we need to change the game up and turn it on them. So unless Tony turns on Bananas and lines with Devin at some point and just fucks John over without John seeing it, I'm going to be fucking mad that he's still acting like this.
I love your usage of John. To me, it's just like a bleep. You know what I mean? Where like, we're not even going to say Johnny, but it's like, beep, motherfucker, beep, beep, like that. It's crazy. It's ringing in my head. But overall, again, Tony, disappointment. Kyle, I think Kyle, he's just gonna he's gonna surf through this thing. He really is. I mean
why not?
Sure he won, but I feel like he's just gonna fucking coast, man. Like, he's getting laid. He's getting,
he's not having to do any real work. He's getting into the freaking troika without doing shit. Or at least this time.
But they choose Shane, Victor, Devin. They have the dinner. To me now, it's like, it's too much shit. It's like, there's a big section of them, the three of them, like, who are we going to put in? And then there's a big section of the dinner. You know what I mean?
love the Inquisition at first because people, the first, like, I think it was Brad and, John and Kyle, that was a great Inquisition. Ever since, it's been very fucking boring. Like, make it more exciting. They could have made it so exciting this time, like we were saying with Brad, Shane, and John in there. But they didn't. They went the stupid, cheap-ass way.
You ever watch The Apprentice, Donald Trump, our fucking President of the United States show? Fucking Celebrity Apprentice I watched. And the boardroom where they have to fucking, there's people on the hot seats. They have to defend why they shouldn't be fired. There's Donald Trump, who's ready to be like, you're fired. You know what I mean? And then there's his daughter and his fucking son. And the three of them, they fucking definitely spill tea. You know what I mean? They are just like saying anything they could say to save their asses. That is what they had to do. They're like, no, you're
like
going
if they
in.
knew at the end of this dinner, they would be trying way harder to be. So Victor would not just be going, I'm not going to say anything because.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I wish the challenge would listen to me. No, I take that back. I wish that anybody would listen to me. Like, you see our views. The views are fucking low. They're dim. And I'm like...
And I apologize for that. The moment I came on, this show just dipped and dipped. And
not at all. No. I go through this shit all the time, but...
No, they're always really high. Like... I mean, it's like the challenge. They're usually high at the beginning, high at the end. Kind of just whatever in the middle. Really just depending on what... just lives, people's lives.
Plus, motherfuckers online want to see people's faces nowadays. You know how many fucking podcasts and recaps and reviews there are on YouTube right now? It exploded. Shit exploded.
Well,
Jesus
even just
Christ.
with the challenge, like suddenly everyone's doing their own challenge podcast that I've noticed, and I was like, "But you've been doing it forever, like so long."
3 whole years. Oh my god.
3 years ago, nobody was watching the challenge. They haven't hit a million views in since X's 2. But we've been watching. Hell, Vince has been buying them.
Yeah, Jesus. I feel so bad about it. All right, well, all I have written down after all this shit is that there's another note, which I don't care about. It looks like Cara Maria might have been the one that...
Well, she had like this weird... she was listening to them in the other room and did this weird eye look. Like... Well, they can't see it. Like, just imagine a honk sound, but with your eyes. And she looks suspicious. AF.
She's got the red clown hair, you know what I mean? But she's hot, you know. But I'm just like,
what's that have to do with notes?
What? No, you said squeak.
Oh,
and you said honk, as in like the clown nose, and she's got red hair. I don't know, but what does that have to do with notes? Exactly. I threw my notes away. That was the last thing I wrote. I think they arrive at elimination, but that doesn't matter.
That was because the last shot was like on Shane, and it was like dang, dang, music, and then Shane's like, oh boy, and then executive producers.
Yes. And with that, I have nothing to add. I could say like, oh, do you want to make predictions? Who do you think should be chosen? But it's like, who cares? Like, I am in no control of this show. It's up to you. Do you want to make predictions, or do you want to just fucking cut this shit out now immediately before I start to really rant and rave?
Out of the three, I like Devin and Shane too much. I like Victor. I just started liking Victor. I would rather it be anyone else in there. I didn't want Josh to go in there. I'd love it for it to be Kyle or, Zach, or just because I like that. I don't know. I haven't seen Victor much. I've seen Zach plenty of times. Not that I don't like him as a competitor. Devin and Shane are just two people I don't want to see leave anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, even though Shane kind of annoyed me this episode, that's what he does. He's out to do that shit. Overall, I still like him. I want him to succeed, and not only that, I feel like he could succeed over Victor and Devin. So put him in. He could take out Brad, I guess is what I'm saying. Shane
out of the
is
three of them,
really talented.
He would have, I feel like, the best shot because he's done this game before.
And Brad, holy shit, I'm just thinking about this now because, the episode cut it off and I didn't have time to think about it. But Brad is amazing in elimination.
Dude, I was loving, he was like, I'm actually kind of excited to go back into it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's that confident. And he should be. He's a beast.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was the end of the episode. Thank you very much, Scott. But I would like to say thank you again. And thank you to the listeners. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm really bad at responding. I really am. Like, I say this every time.
Hey, Vince, you know how you could change that? Just stop being fucking bad at it and do it.
Wait a minute. No. When I do respond, I'm good at it. I'm like, well, that's very thoughtful. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But if you only do it 1 out of 100 comments, you're still an asshole.
I don't. Am I? I don't know.
No, you're lovely.
Okay.
Come on.
That's the real thing. They're like, you've been doing this for 3 years and you've said like 12 things. Fuck you.
That's why people aren't watching anymore or listening. He never responds to me. He thinks he's too good for me. Vincent Cloud. More like, Vincent, get your head out of your ass, Cloud.
Yeah,
that could have worked better.
The clouds they're in your ass. Yeah. I'm glad we were able to work on that joke together. But I'm gonna let you go, Scott.
Farewell.
This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and Scotty Allwood.